Let's find the antiderivative. So the question one is we have to find the antiderivative for x raised to the power 4. I'll do step by step. I'll give you on another question after solving this. You try to solve it. So step 1 is first you have to write this as the answer. This x power 4 is the answer and you have to write d by dx of the f of x. You have to find this f of x only. So here we are doing it in the reverse order. Here we know the answer already and we are finding the question. So this is your step 1 and in step 1 you have to write the power rule. And what is power rule? D by dx of x raised to the power n is equal to n into x power n minus 1. So you have to compare this x power 4 to x raised to the power n minus 1. If I do that, the value of n minus 1 is 4 and the value of n is 4 plus 1 which is 5. So I found the value of n. So now I have to fill this up. How can I do that? I have to write it as d by dx of, the bases are going to be same. So just put the x as x itself and we know the value of n which is 5. So that you have to write it. This is step 1 and step 2 is we have to perform the actual differentiation. Perform the actual differentiation or finding the derivative. So now you have to differentiate this. If you differentiate x power 5 using this power rule, it will become 5 times of x raised to the power 4. That is differentiation of x raised to the power 5. That is step 2. And step 3. In our question, they asked us to find the antiderivative for x raised to the power 4. So in the right hand side, you do have 5x power 4. You just keep the x raised to the power 4 alone in the right hand side. Move the other things to the left hand side. You do have a constant in the right hand side. When you move this 5 to the left hand side, it will become 1 upon 5. So it's 1 upon 5 d by dx of x raised to the power 5 and which can be written as 1 by 5 x raised to the power 5 the whole dash is equal to x raised to the power 4. That's it. So the antiderivative of x raised to the power 4 is 1 upon 5 x raised to the power 5 the whole dash. Are you able to follow this?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
Yeah. Shall I give you a question to solve?
Okay.
Okay. So let me give it in terms of y. Okay, like try to find the derivative for y power 7. Follow the same steps. I'm just leaving the steps in the book.
Ma'am, is it 1 by 8 d by dy of y raised to the power 8?
It's 1 by 8 y raised to the power 8. It is, it is. Good. We'll do a question from NCERT, just a second. Yes. So find the antiderivative for sine 2x minus 4 e raised to the power 3x. Let's split this thing into two parts. First, we'll find the antiderivative for sine 2x, and for this 4 times of e raised to the power 3x. At last, we'll club this with the subtraction operation. Okay. So first, for finding the antiderivative of sine 2x. So sine 2x is the answer. So we are going to search the question now. So you have to find the f of x. So differentiation of some function leads to the result of sine 2x. So when you differentiate cos theta, you will be getting the result as sine theta, right? So it will be cos 2x equal to sine 2x. So step 1 is using the right trigonometric identity, using the right trigonometric formula. Okay, that is step 1. And step 2 is performing the actual differentiation. Performing the actual differentiation or derivative. How will you find the derivative? You have to differentiate this cos 2x. When you differentiate the cos 2x, you will be getting the result as minus sine 2x. Differentiation of cos 2x will give you the result as minus sine 2x. And also, you have to use the chain rule, because here the variable is being multiplied by 2. The theta is doubled here, right? So you have to differentiate the 2x also. I'm using the chain rule here. So this will be minus sine 2x times 2, which is minus 2 sine 2x and now I can rewrite this as I can take this minus 2 to the other side. That will become minus 1 by 2 d by dx of cos 2x is equal to sine 2x. And I can write it as minus 1 by 2 cos 2x the whole dash. Let me assume this as the part 1 solution. Are you able to follow this?
Yes, ma'am, yeah.
Good. So the second part, you have 4 times of e raised to the power 3x. See, 4 is a constant. You can club it with your final answer. Let's solve e raised to the power 3x. How do you write this? First, you need to write e raised to the power 3x as the answer. And we have to find the f of x. When you will get e power 3x, there is a formula that d by dx of e raised to the power nx will give you n times of e raised to the power nx. And this can be written as e power nx is equal to 1 upon n d by dx of e raised to the power nx. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am, yeah.
And now if I compare this structure with my question, I can say the value of n is 3. So I just have to do this part. it's 1 upon 3 d by dx of e raised to the power 3x is equal to e raised to the power 3x. That's it. So this can be written as, like I'll write it in a different color, like 1 by 3 e power 3x the whole dash is equal to e power 3x. The antiderivative of e power 3x is 1 by 3 e raised to the power 3x the whole dash. Okay. And we do have to multiply this by the constant 4. If I'm multiplying over here, I do have to multiply in my left hand side also. So it will become 4 by 3 e raised to the power 3x the whole dash. Okay. So we found the answer for the, part 2 also. So here we just have to club it with the negative sign. So it's minus 1 by 2 cos 2x, and you have minus sign here, so that you have to include, and it's 4 by 3 e power 3x of whole dash. So this is your answer. Are you able to follow?
Ma'am, can you explain the last step again?
The last step, like you mean this one?
Oh, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yeah. That one.
Yeah. No, I've just found the solution for the sine 2x and for e power 3x separately, right? But in our question, they asked us to find the antiderivative of the expression, which is sine 2x minus 4 e power 3x. So you just have to club these answers. See, initially we separated this into two parts. Now we just have to club these answer with the negative sign. That's it.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, I got it.
You got it? Fine.
Done, ma'am. I wrote it.
Let's solve another question. This is an easy question. Okay, I think you do have only 5 questions for finding the antiderivative. The other questions are the basic ones. Okay. From the exercise 7.1, from the question number 1 to 5 follows that antiderivative method. Okay. Afterwards, you do have the very basic integration, the Leibniz one. All right. So now we have to solve this one, which is question number 6 from the exercise 7.1. It is 4 times of e raised to the power 3x plus 1 dx. I'll give you the integrals first. Integration of e raised to the power nx is e raised to the power nx upon n plus c. Integral x raised to the power n dx is x raised to the power n plus 1 upon n plus 1 plus c. Okay. Remember these two, you will be using it. So first I can apply the distributive property. I can split my integral symbol into two parts. like integral 4e power 3x dx plus integral 1 dx. I can write it like this. I can rewrite 1 in terms of x. I can write 1 as x raised to the power 0 because anything power 0 will give me 1. And write 4e power 3x. And 4e power 3x can be written as 4 times of e power 3x. Like write it as 4 integral e power 3x. Whenever you see the constant is in multiplication or division with the integral, you just have to take it out. So for solving this, you just have to compare this. I'm sorry, I forgot to put dx here. You just have to compare it with the left hand side part. If you do that, the value of n is going to be 3. Are you able to follow so far?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
Yeah. So it will be 4 times of e raised to the power 3x. I just have to write my right hand side, right? It's e raised to the power 3x upon 3 plus c. And that plus c can wait. It is an integral constant. You can put that integral constant at the final step. Okay. You don't have to include that plus c in every step. It is acceptable if you don't write it also. So it's e raised to the power 3x by 3 plus, for integrating this, the value of n is 0 if I compare these two, and it's going to be x raised to the power 0 plus 1 upon 0 plus 1. So it will be 4 by 3 times of e raised to the power 3x and x power 1 upon 1, which is nothing but x. I can write it as 4x by 3 e raised to the power 3x. Yeah, and plus c. This plus c is nothing but integral constant. And this is, we will be including this integral constant whenever we have the indefinite integral. Like this integral doesn't contain any limit. It doesn't contain lower limit. It doesn't contain upper limit. So in this case, you will be using the integral constant. Are you able to follow?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
Okay. I'll give you a question to solve. All right. Okay, please note it down.
Done, ma'am.
Done. It's question number 7. Integral x square times 1 minus 1 divided by x square dx. And there is no product rule in the differentiation. Okay, people tend to get confused with this uv the whole dash equal to uv dash plus vu dash. Okay, this is for differentiation, and we don't have product rule in the integration. Okay, remember that. So now we have to simplify this. I'll just do the simplification part alone. You can proceed it afterwards. So this can be written as like x square and minus x square and 1 by x square dx. And this can be written as x square, and this will get cancelled because it is in multiplication, right? We can cancel it out and it will become x square minus 1 dx. And we are not allowed to perform cancellation if this x square is in subtraction or addition. You won't be able to perform the cancellation. Here you will be going for the LCM. Okay. When it is in multiplication or division, like when you have like x square into 1 by x square or x square by x square, you are allowed to make the cancellation.
Ma'am, how did it become minus x squared into 1 by x squared?
Okay, see here you do have a bracket sign, right? Which means this x square is common for this 1 and this 1 by x square, right? Like imagine you do have 3 and a plus b. I can write it as like 3 times of a plus 3 times of b, which can be written as 3a plus 3b, right?
Yes. Yeah.
I apply the same strategy, the basic algebraic, expression.
But ma'am, if we distribute it, then won't it be x squared divided by x squared?
Yeah, either way it is same. x square times 1 by x square by x square, both are same only. Both are same. See here, this x square can be written as x square by 1. When you perform multiplication in fraction, you will be multiplying the numerators. So x square and 1 is x square, and in the denominator you do have 1 and x square, which is also x square. So you'll be obtaining this only. It is okay to make the cancel with x square times 1 by x square. There is nothing wrong in that. Or else you can write it as x square upon x square also. Anything is fine.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I want you to proceed the integration step from this.
Ma'am, is it x cubed divided by 3 plus minus x?
It is. So this can be written as x square dx and minus 1 dx. And when you use the power rule, it will become x power n plus 1 upon n plus 1. The value of n is 2 here. So it will become 2 plus 1 divided by 2 plus 1, which is x raised to the power 3 by 3. Right? So integration of x raised to the power 2 will give you x power 3 upon 3. And when you integrate 1, you can write it as x raised to the power 0. And this can be written as x raised to the power 0 plus 1 upon 0 plus 1. It is x power 1 upon 1, which is nothing but x. So this will be the final solution. You are right. Move on to the next question. Question number 8. It is ax square plus bx plus c dx. So it is I can say it is a quadratic equation. So we can split this into 3 parts. I can write integral ax square dx plus integral bx dx plus integral c dx. Here the alphabet A is in multiplication with x square. As I said earlier, you have to take the constant which is in multiplication with the x square. Take it out. Here also, you are differentiating with respect to x. So the B is absolutely a constant. Here also, C. And it can be written as 1 here. C can be written as C into 1. By using this formula, like when you integrate x raised to the power n, you will be obtaining the result as x power n plus 1 upon n plus 1 plus c, and which can be written as x a times of x raised to the power 2 plus 1 upon 2 plus 1 plus b into x raised to the power 1 plus 1 upon 1 plus 1, because x can be considered as x power 1, right? And c into integral 1, and 1 can be written in terms of x, which is x raised to the power 0. So this will be x raised to the power 0 plus 1 upon 0 plus 1. See, once you perform the integration, it is compulsory to remove this integration sign, this big S. Okay, this you have to remove. People tend to make mistakes in this as well. So like this will become like a times of x cube upon 3 plus b into x square upon 2 plus c into x power 1 upon 1, which can be written as x. You just have to adjoin with plus c. Like we do have c already here, so you can include some different variable in this. Just to show our integral constant, you can include any alphabet. Can be k, l, m, and anything, but you have to include a integral constant because it is an indefinite integral. They didn't mention the upper limit and lower limit here. So this is the result. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, please note it down. You're done?
Done, ma'am.
All right. I'll give you a question for homework. It's question number 9 from NCERT, integral. It's 2x square plus e raised to the power x dx. Solve this question. And this is for homework.
Yes, ma'am, I wrote it.
Shall we wind up the session for today then?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, then. We'll stop here. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Have a nice day.
You too.
Bye.
Have a nice day. See you.